Good morning and greetings and salutations to everybody out there in YouTube land. I'm your host once again, Dan Thornton. I want to thank you all for tuning in today to Lions Talk Live. You know what? The weekend's here, Friday's here, and I'm going to say this, 1 week in free agency, I'm going to anticipate most Lions fans are pretty happy with where things are with the team. Obviously, yesterday, huge news comes out, DJ Reader. We all speculated it throughout we'll say most of the week that, hey, he was coming in on a visit. The Lions more than likely had a contract ready for him. We talked about it at length that my anticipation was the first couple hours, he's in kind of a meet and greet mode with the coaching staff, seeing the facilities, all that kind of stuff. Assuming that went well, around 2 o'clock, he'd go into the medical staff, have them do their evaluations. That could last anywhere from an hour to 2 hours. I'm going to guess based on the time the news went out that it probably lasted about an hour or so. Then both parties sat down, talked about numbers, talked about the brass tacks, and a deal was struck. This is on top of the Detroit Lions signing a number of cornerbacks. And you know what? Who knows what's left to be had? There are ways that the Lions, if they choose to free up even more cap space, they could. Restructuring or just extending Jared Goff. He could probably free up about $12 million or so. I'm looking at his dead cap space currently, his cap hit number, and his actual base salary. You could probably free up somewhere around 10 to 12 million. Taylor Decker, you could probably free up about 6 million. Let's see, Carlton Davis, if you want to extend him right now, you could free up a whole lot of money, maybe as much as 7, 8 million. So you get the gist without going through every player on the team. If the Lions want to make some more moves, they do have the ability to do so. They're also going to have to extend a few guys in order to make that happen. But all said and done, what are your guys' thoughts on Brad Holmes and the master plan so far? So far, I'm going to just say for me, if I had to give a grade, I'm going to go with a B+ for the overall free agency so far. You got probably one hole at offensive lineman as far as the interior offensive line with a guard. You could maybe use another safety. Obviously, another potential defensive end. But Brad Holmes clearly, as you can tell from the thumbnail, my thoughts are he clearly came into the offseason with a plan, what he was going to do to try to address certain aspects of this team. And it seems like so far that plan has gone to fruition. It seems to have gone without a hiccup, other than maybe you could say they didn't get Danielle Hunter. That also being said, you look at the cost for all the players you've signed. And Loud, let's just use this as an example. For what you paid to get Carlton Davis III and DJ Reader, it cost the franchise less than what it would cost to get Danielle Hunter. You didn't keep Jonah Jackson, but I'm going to assume because of the cost of Graham Glasgow and whoever else you bring in to help solidify that offensive line, it's going to be less than a Jonah Jackson. And you can go through all the players one at a time, what happens, but you get the gist. This is where the Lions are. And, hey, I'm going to say this. This plan looks like it's coming to shape and before the draft even hits. All right, before we get into the rest of the video, a couple things I want to do. First of all, as most of you know, Lions Talk Live regular Phil has had to go through a few things. I do not have an update on him health-wise. Hopefully he can jump in the chat today, or if somebody else knows what's going on, his current status, hopefully he's doing well. So if you would take a second out of your day and give a shout out to Phil, maybe throw a thought and prayer at him. Hey, it's part of life. You get older, things happen, man. I'm starting to notice that more and more as I'm closing in on 52. But also, if you haven't yet subscribed to Lions Talk Live, please consider doing so. I want to say we're about 30 or so subs away from hitting 6,100. So if you could take a moment of time out of your day and hit that subscription button, I surely would be thankful. Also, if you enjoy the content of the videos on Lions Talk Live, don't be afraid to hit that thumbs up button. It really does help out exponentially. Last but never least, because I am a dude who has to pay for bills, and I got a daughter who's soon to be a teenager. And you know what? You know what that means. Money's got to be spent. So if you are looking to buy or sell property anywhere in the great state of Michigan or even outside of Michigan, give me a call or shoot me a text. Let me see if I can use over 30 years in the industry to your benefit. See if I can help you with either the sale or purchase of property. And it could be the Upper Peninsula, the thumb of Michigan, the middle of Michigan, the lower part of Michigan. It can be right outside the only remaining hot now in the world. That's right, Sturgis, Michigan. So give me a call, shoot me a text. You see the number on the screen, 269-998-2384. Let's have a chat. Let's see what I can do to help you out. All right, welcome to Lions Talk Live. Let's get this going. Let's see what your guys' thoughts. If you do have a grade on the free agency aspect of the offseason so far, and I guess you could extend that to include bets, among other players that we've brought on in, let me know your thoughts. I'm going to go with a B+. I love the fact that we've retained a lot of the guys that we wanted to keep from the team, plus some of the additions appear, at least on paper, to be pretty nice. All right, Michael, Reading Society Salutations coach and Duke crew. Woo! There you go, the first word of the show. Michael got us going early. All right, JDC, morning all. Morning to you too. Mike the Marine, howdy, Dan, the Lions faithful. Happy Friday to all. And back at you, buddy. Hopefully having a phenomenal Friday. Phenomenal. All right, Thaddeus, go y'all. All right, go y'all too. Hopefully having a great morning. All right, Eduardo. Good morning, everyone. Happy Friday and happy weekend. And will there be any other moves by the Lions this weekend? I'm not so sure if there will be, but if they do, where do you think they go with it? My guess would be probably offensive line. And if they pick up another quality starting offensive lineman, especially a guard, I would say, do they go ahead and does that now shift their focus in the draft to basically where the first round is going to be a defensive end? Do you make a trade up if that happens to acquire one of the better ones? I'll let you guys debate that. All right, Michael, can't imagine having a top 5 in offense and defense, exclamation points. New Orleans, here we come, question mark, exclamation points and a question mark. I would say this, man. The Lions seem to be setting up something with that defense. And I know we talked about it a little bit yesterday, but I get also not everybody watches that, all the videos. So yesterday, here was my thoughts. The Lions last year said, hey, we can't fix everything on D. Let's make sure that you can't run on us, or at least make it very difficult for you to run on us. That seems to have continued this offseason with the addition of DJ Reader, plus Davenport. You look at some of his strengths and weaknesses. Carlton Davis can clearly play the run. He can play the pass. He's all over the place. So you get the gist. They want to continue that trend. They want them trying to make teams on offense as one-dimensional as possible. And now they've beefed up that secondary, at least on paper. I was trying to go through it with you guys for a couple days. Where are the pieces in the secondary going to fall? Is it possible? I'm going to throw this out there. Is it possible your starting secondary is going to be Carlton Davis, Cam Sutton, the new kid from the Raider, I can't remember his last name offhand, Amstead or whatever it was. But anyways, sorry if I can't remember him. Are those your 3 starting corners? And then do you have Brian Branch, Iffy, or Kirby as the safeties? I'm not sure which way it's going to work. Or do you leave Brian Branch in the slot? I don't know. I'll let you guys debate that. But whatever it's going to be, the Lions have some real strengths in the secondary. That doesn't even include Emmanuel Mosley. Now he's just depth. And if you have Branch and Kirby as your starting safeties, is Iffy now depth? Does Iffy start and somebody else not? I mean, the point is you've got some legit depth there. And now can you just get a couple pieces to help get to the quarterback a little bit better? All right, Bo, what do you got? Good morning, Duke crew. Superdome or bust, exclamation point. I have been watching film, all 22 NFL, and I'm really liking Amika Robertson. Yeah, that's the kid. Thanks for that, man. Yeah, he can play, and that's what I was saying. Do you have him take the slot and then move Brian Branch now to safety? If you do that, somebody else has got to sit unless you're going to only play 2 backers, which is a possibility on most downs. So it'll be interesting to see what they're going to do because, again, you're going to have a gluttony of people, and this doesn't even include anybody we draft. So the Lions have really set themselves up, in my opinion, to have good depth and good options, competition, which is what I love as a coach. I don't like just saying, hey, you're the starters. I like every day in practice. You want to be the starter of the next game, you got to earn it. And we grade everybody in my practices. I get not everybody does that, but you come in, you don't have a good day in practice, that's going to kill your opportunity to be out there on the field. So let me know your guys' thoughts. Who do you go with as far as the starting secondary for the Detroit Lions? Who do you think will be the majority of the starters throughout the season? All right, Robert Woodsey, good morning, crew. Good morning to you too, sir. Hopefully having a great one. Eduardo, I'm ready to start the hutch for defensive rookie of the year, defensive player of the year, 2024 campaign. He's going to have some opportunities. Could it be somebody else on the team that could push towards it? We'll have to wait and see. Trump's, woo! There you go. A second woo of the show, I think. I'm not 100% sure on that, though. Eduardo, coach, question. Can the loss of an NFL title game really fuel them for the whole season to go back? Question mark. Would that fuel you as a coach? Yes, it would. Pure and simple. It does motivate a lot of different people, a lot of different coaching staff. Excuse me. So yes, it can do it. And it really does come down to how the vast majority of your team is wired. If you have especially alpha personalities or driver personalities, depending on which terminology you want to use, that can really strongly motivate them. It causes a burning desire within a lot of them, almost an embarrassment because you lost the game, and now you're using that as basically emotional fuel to take you through. I've seen a number of teams do it. I've seen other teams crumble to it. So again, it's going to come down to who are the leaders in your locker room, both from a player standpoint and then a coaching staff standpoint. That pain, that emotional pain, rarely goes away from certain personality types versus others. And then again, in a driver setting, an alpha setting, that stays with them, and they're just, for lack of a better word, they are pissed off throughout the season. They are the person that's going to constantly remember that moment, and it sticks with them until they can wash it away with that win in the title game in this example. So covering high school sports, college sports, or coaching, those sports, or even professionally, you see real quickly who that impacts differently than others. And I would say this, I think the Lions have a lot of guys on this team that from at least the inner part, the emotional aspect, this will stick with them until they can get an NFC championship and then obviously into the Super Bowl. And that's the only way they're going to get over that memory. So food for thoughts. All right, John, great salutations, anyone. I am starting to see Brad's ideas for the team. Yesterday was a huge win for the team, and I think the draft will only make us better, ! I agree. He does appear that he came in wanting to address certain things and also how this will play into the draft. So I couldn't agree more. I think these limited his real needs on the team to potentially two specific spots. I get we already talked about it, guard and defensive end. So can they make a move to move up in the first round? Absolutely. At this point, could they move down from the first round to get maybe two second round picks versus just one? I think that's also a possibility. So he's got some real options here. I think there are going to be some good plays some good options in play in the draft. So yes, I think the draft could actually push this team even further ahead. I know there's going to be a lot of people that are talking about Chicago, improving a ton this offseason, at least on paper, just like we could say the Lions have improved on paper. What's going to happen in the NFC North next year? Who knows who will win it? I will say this. It does seem like it's going to be a massive arms race to try to push everybody into first place. The only team that seems to have not done a ton as of yet would be the Minnesota Vikings. But the Packers have done a few things. The Bears have seemingly done more. And, man, they've got the draft still ahead of them. They win the draft. They do well. They're going to be set up for a while to come. All right, Eduardo, let's see. If Davis is the lockdown and Mosley comes in and outplays Sutton, what we doing? In my perfect world, Sutton's probably, man. In my perfect world, I guess, Davis is your number one corner. Probably Mosley's your number two. Whew, man, it's tough because the depth. And, some of these guys have been hurt like Mosley, so you haven't seen them in a minute. But whatever it's going to be, Eduardo, we can say this. It'll be the first time in probably 20-plus years that the Lions have legitimate depth across the board in the secondary. If somebody goes down, it is not a death sentence to that secondary. You are going to have a lot of guys who can play and are athletic, physical, going to get after each other. So I'm excited to see what they do, and I think they're going to be able to alter things throughout the season based on the teams they're playing. To me, that's the best part of it. We can take away your strengths and force you to play our style. So food for thought. All right, Mike the Marine, even though Brad Holmes did get outbid again, he stuck to his guns in the future and still built a team to be proud of, and free agency isn't over yet. Yeah, Mike, you're 100% right. Maybe somebody wants to look it up and check it and throw it in the comment section. I don't know offhand how much money we have left. I'm anticipating, as far as available cap space, we're around $15 million. But again, I'm doing the math in my head and it's early. I haven't had a Mountain Dew yet. So if somebody wants to verify that for everybody in the chat and then throw it in there, I would be thankful. All right, Eduardo, DJ Reader going to open up Aleem and Hutch. Now just needs to draft an edge, and we are off running. Let's flip and go. Yeah, I would agree. We seemingly have set up that defensive line to be pretty dang good, pretty tough to run on. Again, to try to make teams one-dimensional. Plus, you can say DJ is going to be a little bit of a mentor for perhaps Broderick Martin or anybody else we bring in. I still wouldn't be upset if we brought in Sweat from Texas. That would just make that middle of that defensive line just a brick wall, in my opinion. So let's see what they do in the draft. But when we run the next mock draft next week, it'll be interesting to see how everybody's thoughts have changed on where we go with this pick, that pick, etc. So, all right, moving on. Trump's one more free agent coming in. All right, who you got, Trump's? Who do you got us going after? Or what do you have us going after? Maybe that'll be the easier question. All right, Eduardo, both Aleem and Iffy are in contract years. If they both ball out, who do you extend and who do you franchise tag? If they both ball out, I'm probably extending Aleem and then franchise tagging Iffy. Just, I'm just trying to do the math on the top 5 at their positions. Or, obviously it'd be more advantageous if you just extend them both. But one thing at a time, per your question, I'm going with extending Aleem and franchise tagging Iffy. All right, Bird time. Good morning, Dan. Happy Friday. Back at you, Bergs. Hopefully having a great one. 5 Fingers Freddy. DJ will change the defense. And let me be the first to say, quote, I love it when a plan comes together. Haha, I see what you did there. Yeah, the plan, yes. And hey, Brad Holmes has got one. He's had one apparently all off season before free agency even started. And he's sticking to his guns. He's doing well. Michael, I think we should get some depth at linebacker in the draft. Yeah, I could see that. I think, my anticipation is first round and second round is defensive end and offensive guard. Which way you'll go, which goes in which round, we'll wait and see what happens. But that's my anticipation. And from there on out, unless you just really strike gold with whoever you pick up, you're probably getting players that are younger, the developmental, that add depth to the team. Maybe a kicker would start or something like that. But all right, Eduardo, if they signing a backup guard, I see that being the first or second pick. Wouldn't it be surprised if Donovan Peoples-Jones drops now that the teams that needed a guard center, or Jackson, Jackson Powers, center guards, heavy, overpriced for some. Yeah, to your point, Eduardo, I think there are a lot of guards and centers out there right now, bets that they're probably not happy that they picked this year to be a free agent or, became a free agent this year just because there seems to be a gluttony of them competing with each other just to get a roster spot, let alone a paycheck at this point. And then you look at the strengths of this upcoming draft. There are a lot of real quality guards / centers that are going to be available in the draft, which will probably further exacerbate the problem and move some of their asking prices down even more just so they can be employed in the NFL next year. So good take there. Robert, woo! There you go, buddy. Another woo for the show. Eduardo, I think we drafted a linebacker in every draft Brad has done. I think you're right. I want to say the first year was Derek Barnes. Year 2, Rodrigo. And then year 3 would have been Campbell. So yeah, I think you're right on that. Robert, Tree of Destiny or bust. There you go. And hopefully Jason's got that Tree of Destiny ready to be put back up sooner versus later. Bo, no franchise tags for anyone under Brad Holmes would be my guess. I think he manages contracts too well to be situational like that. All right. Yeah, I got you there. Hopefully it doesn't come to that. Hopefully they're able to just work out new deals for a number of different players. All right, Matthew Green's salutations. Good morning, everyone. Good morning to you, too. Hopefully having a great one. JDC, rebuilding since 57, getting ever so close. Stay tuned. Find out on Lions Talk Live. Fair enough. Thank you for that. Shameless plug I'll take. Yes, and thank you. Robert D., in my opinion, I really believe the plan has been to have James Houston on the other end. I agree with you. I 100% agree with you, and I'm okay with it because I like the guy. I get he's got some downsides. I know we talk about it ad nauseum, but I'm going to say this. I'm pairing him on that side of the line with DJ Reader maybe Broderick Martin when they rotate him, or whoever else they bring in, just so you can help at least with his deficiencies in the run game. Hopefully you can coach him up, you can beef him up a little bit more and make that less of a weakness. But I don't think there's anybody, in the chat or watching this show live or in the future that will be able to say, the guy's just not good at getting to the quarterback. Even last year, as hurt as he was, you could see him getting past offensive linemen in the NFC title game. Was he great at it? No. I mean, it was his first game in 4 months or whatever. But prior to the injury, which really you only have one game, the Kansas City game, you could see him getting to the quarterback, grabbing onto Patrick Mahomes, holding on to ankles. And Patrick Mahomes is a tough one to get sacks on. So I'm with you on that. I hope he shows up all season long and they sign him to a longer term deal. So we'll see what happens, one game at a time. Just AK, good morning, everyone. After this free agency window, I think we are now all about defensive end in round 1, offensive guard in round 2. Thoughts? I'd say you're about right with that. Could one of the quality defensive ends drop to us at 29? I think it's possible, just because the amount of offensive weapons that quarterbacks, receivers, etc., that will probably go off the board in the first 15 picks. And not that they're going to be all offensive players in the first 15, but I think you're going to see a lot of defensive players get pushed down. Now, does that open up a conversation to where maybe around pick 18 or 20, the Lions make an aggressive trade up to try to acquire a defensive end? I think that's where it will really get interesting. And what would it cost to make that move? Man, I'll let you guys in the chat debate that. I'm hoping like our first and a third, maybe a 5th rounder or something like that. But I think you're going to see the potential for the Lions to be more assertive in the draft, just because there are very few needs on this team. The only way I make those trades, though, like I always say, if I'm going to trade up and give you 2 picks to move up to that, whatever, number 21 spot, then when I'm going to get 2 picks back, I'm going to get your current pick that we want at 2021, and I need you to give us a 7th or a 6th in return, just so, again, I can try to offset the costs financially on the books. So hopefully that makes sense. Trump's, what's the word on Chase Young? At trade deadline, he was all the buzz, and the Lions were losers for not signing him. I don't think anybody signed him, at least not as of yet. Maybe I'm wrong with that. I haven't paid a ton of attention to him because he really hasn't seemed to have been a Lions target. But to your point, I'm guessing Trump's, he's ended up not being the player that a lot of people, because maybe of his draft status or how well he did his rookie year, he doesn't seem to be holding up well in the NFL. And there could be a multitude of reasons for that. I'm not here to say what those are. I'm just saying you can probably tell why Brad Holmes and the coaching staff didn't make a move for him. All right, Papa at Trump's, has anyone signed him? No, yeah, I agree. I don't think anybody has signed him. All right, Eduardo, just say K, or could it be guard in first round and defensive end in the second? I'd rather draft, Jackson Powers, who would be our all-pro year 1, and take a chance on the edge in the second. Yeah, I'd be way okay with that, Eduardo, because that offensive line, you've reduced costs. You've gotten younger, because you do need to get some younger talent in there, in my opinion. And yeah, you're getting someone who at least seems like they're going to be a starter from the moment they get in the NFL. Now, in the second round, can you hit on a defensive end? I guess we'll wait and see, but I'd have no problem with your scenario there. Bergtime, we still need one more receiver if we don't re-sign Reynolds or Donovan Peoples-Jones. Yeah, I think we still need to get someone, and I think they will, whether it will be through the draft or free agency. I think, you're going to see us add somebody. Trump's now crybaby Derek is mad at the Reader signing. I don't know why he is, but I'm sure you guys will be able to tell me. Sorry he doesn't like it, but not everybody's going to like every signing. Somebody's going to want somebody else. I mean, it's how it goes, man. All right, Eduardo, be nice. All right, I'll be nice. Bo, what do you got? Rotation. D-line is going to be able to throw hard. Every play. We are building up a pretty decent rotation, I would assume, at the defense, throughout the defensive line. Let's just say you do draft one defensive edge and he's decent. You're going to be able to rotate him. Broderick Martin, you got Pascal. You've got a number of guys, Levi Onwuzurike, if he makes it, that you're going to be able to keep in that rotation, and it might be 7-8 deep. All right, Robert. Also, in my opinion, they will put most of their focus on drafting the best offensive line. Yeah, I'd have no problem with it whatsoever. Get a day one starter from your first or second round. Get them out there, perform well, and if they can do that also with another position or two, as talented as this team is, if you're still able to draft starters, and especially multiple starters per draft, that really speaks to the coaching staff, the scouting department, the front office, all finding diamonds in the rough and being able to properly evaluate players. It's just something you don't really see that often. I've said it before on the show. The first year, second year, this regime was there. It was easy to draft starters for the most part because you know what? There was nothing to oppose them. The team was talent barren. They just didn't have much. So every year that they continue to hit on draft picks, it should mathematically just become harder for them to draft more starters. And if they do it again this year, then man, oh man, I just cannot imagine being a different franchise and saying we need to ignore the Detroit Lions scouts because I'm going to guess even more of them are going to be picked up by opposing teams. It's just what they are doing so far with the draft. It's just absolute. It's a masterclass. All right, Clark, good morning, all. Why would anyone be upset with signing Reader? Who knows? I can't answer that one. All right, Eduardo, regardless about how everyone is feeling, we all want the same thing from our team to get better. Some are just more passionate than others. Yeah, I'll go with that, man. Some people express themselves differently. It may work for you how they express themselves. It may not. And hey, there's people that, you always use this analogy. There are people that like Mountain Dew. There are people that don't. I don't understand why you don't. But you know what? To each their own. All right, Bergs, 100% agree to Eduardo. Yeah, facts. David, greetings, salutations all. We all wanted Holmes to sign guys and improve the team. He did that. Now it's time to win the draft again. Yeah, and like I just said, man, if they do it again this year, man, I mean, you really do need to do something. If I'm the Detroit Lions, if I'm, Ford Hamp, she needs to do something to take care of those guys because what they're doing is just incredibly unseen. All right, unheard of, I guess I should say. Detroit North, greetings, salutations, Duke crew. Welcome to the 3D exclamation point. Dynasty, Dew of Destiny. Woo! I'll take all the above. All right, we'll take that. And thanks for that, man. Hookadoo, good morning, coach, and the world famous Duke crew, the infamously famous Duke crew. We really do need to have a meet and greet before tailgate, before one of the Lions' early season games. So let's try to make that happen next season. Bo, the intro pressers have been great so far for, all the arrivals. I like watching them selfishly just because I want to I get most of these guys when they get in front of the press, once they've been signed by the Lions, they don't really have a bunch of handlers around them. So you're able to, or at least you're able to be able to pick up a little bit more on who that person actually is. They're in a comfortable setting, a new setting, and they don't have a bunch of people around trying to prep them on how to answer things. So I'll say this. Carlton Davis, he won. I had some questions about him. I watched some film that alleviated a lot of stuff. And then when I actually heard him talk, watched his body language, his nonverbal skills, I was pretty sold on this guy. I think he's going to be a real big addition for the Lions. And I'm going to say this, probably by halfway through the season, it would be my anticipation he's going to be one of the more recognizable fan favorites of the team. All right, Joseph, good morning. Coach Dan and the Mountain Dew crew. I'll take that, man. Exclamation points. Just want to start out by saying, man, Dan, I totally respect your outlook on life and the way you go about your business, the way you handle yourself. Thanks for that, man. Thank you very much. And hopefully you're having a great day and hopefully you have a good outlook too, man. Appreciate that. Bergtime, good morning. Hookadoo, good morning to everybody watching. So, all right, Jess, what do you got? What's good, y'all? Question mark. There are many YouTube channels out there. This is the only Lions one I watch anymore. Props to you, coach, and the crew. Well, thanks for watching the channel. Thanks for being a part of the crew. And there's a lot of great YouTubers out there. So don't be afraid to try out different ones, man. Trump's Derek, no more than Brad Holmes. Hey, well, we all have opinions, man. We all have opinions. All right, Moonscar, just got done watching Reader's press conference. He's got me fired up. Hope he is fully healed and goes the full season. I'll say this, Moonscar. It'd be awesome if every player played every game of the season. But I think most of us know whether it's basketball, baseball, football, hockey, or whatever, it's just injury is going to happen, especially in a sport like football. We all get that, man. I get it. If I'll say this, if Reader can give us 14 games plus whatever in the postseason, I'll call that a win. And that's probably my expectations with most positions. I don't even want to speak it into existence. There are some positions that throw the football. I mean, look around how many starters there were in the NFL. So even the best teams, even with the best throwers of the football, I don't want to speak into existence, they get injured. And the fact that we haven't had that, that's kudos to the medical department, the coaching staff. There's a lot of things that come into play. High impact positions like offensive linemen, defensive linemen. I think you're just going to see more of those injuries because most of those are contact injuries, cumulative effects. And you know what? If we get every game of this next year out of Reader, then man, we've hit a huge home run. But again, Mitra is trying to temper my expectations. I'm hoping for like 14-ish, and then whatever we do in the postseason. All right, Eduardo, Reader will be ready week 1. Booked, and I think you will be right. Hookadoo, thanks, Burger Time. Same to you. All right, hey, good stuff there. Malcolm, Gislin, why don't you watch others? All right, I'll let them debate that. Eduardo, Reader was so instrumental in helping Henderson, and now he'll have to help out. Yeah, I got that. Yeah, 100% agree. He's going to help out that deep line exponentially, plus the linebackers. All right, Ed, good morning, Coach, and free agency has shaped up pretty good. Looks like the plan is to make Green Bay and the Bears one dimension. What do you think? Yeah, 100%. You're going to have to throw on the Lions. It would be my anticipation if you want to really do anything sustainable on your particular offense. And as good as that Lions secondary appears to be shaping up to be, you might make it tough for teams to throw too. I get that was kind of our Achilles heel or whatever last year, but you know what? Maybe James Houston is the pass rusher. Maybe it's somebody we get in the draft opposite Hutchinson, DJ Reader, and Aleem. Maybe those guys can really get after the quarterback. Maybe we're going to blitz a whole lot more like we did last year. And just maybe this secondary is going to do much better in man-to-man isolated coverage throughout the secondary while we're blitzing, getting after the other quarterback. Maybe we can stop a mobile quarterback too. Shots fired. All right, Joseph. When negatively bad comments and bad intentions is thrown your way or anybody else's way, for the fact it's just the way you face it and comes advice and give advice to people, just 100% solid dude. I'll go with that. Thanks, man. Thank you. Mike the Marine, he's a sneaky pickup after the season. Offensive guard Mac Franks, 6'5", 315, RAS 9.89, elite fast inside movement. 10 splits. Okay. Shuttles, man, you got a lot of numbers here, man. Let Frank Haley coach him up. Yeah. And one thing not that it has anything to do with who we draft, but I've been surprised Frank Haley wasn't a target of more teams collegiately, professionally, or whatever. The guy just seems to win it with whoever he gets out there, and he really seems to develop them. So I think he's a potential pickup for somebody to move up to a head coaching spot. I'm glad he's a Lion, and I'm with you, Mike. He does phenomenal work with his positional players. Just because I feel like most of the others talk down to viewers, I won't name who they are, won't diss on them like that. Yeah, man. I mean, hey, not everybody's for everybody, so find the ones that work for you. Go with that, man. Moonscar would like to see us sign one more veteran free agent guard or guard/center combo. Yeah, I'm with you there. If you do that, then that offensive line, especially from a depth perspective, starts looking real good. Detroit North, morning, Dan. Is Brad done with free agency, or do we bring on Mike Q. Williams? I would think we're probably, at this point, as far as big signings, we're probably about done. But there could be some players we bring in just as free agency pushes on. Roster spots become a little bit less available. Price tags, slip. I could see us picking up one or two more guys on the lower end costs. All right, Doug, what do you got? Woo! That's a long one. Good morning, all. Good morning to you too. Bird time. Thanks, Hookadoo. Happy Friday. Go Lions. Back at you. Trump's. Someone tell Carlton to lose the sunglasses. When you talk to a man, you look him in the eyes. All right, we'll go with that. Hey, everybody's got their own styles, though, man. Eduardo, draft needs to be by priority guard, defensive end, big body receiver. What Brad will do, best player available, hoping is, Jackson Powers. I think there's a real opportunity he'll be there for the Lions, or maybe you got to trade up slightly to acquire him, but he will definitely, at least would be my anticipation, he would be a target of the team. Eduardo, Chicago making all those moves and still finish 8-9. LOL. They might, man. Everybody's speculating what they're going to do with the number one pick. I believe they're going to take Caleb Williams. It's not what I would do, but they didn't ask me, so there you go. But Chicago should be very much improved next year. They could still mess it up, though. All right, Hookadoo, with Reader signed, how will that affect St. Brown and Goff getting resigned? I don't think it affects them at all, especially if you start off with Goff, because you're going to actually end up freeing up cap space, I'm going to guess, the first year or two, because I know I gave some numbers earlier. St. Brown, though, I get everybody wants him done just so we know his future, but I would say they've got still 3 or 4 months to really get everything handled before you even get into the start of training camp and stuff. So we'll give them time. They'll get it done. I have no doubt about that. Well, I guess no one's allowed to have at Genius. Okay, fair enough. Ed, let's see. Ed, what do we got? If we can stop the run, we do have enough to get to the quarterback. Yeah, I think we do. I do think we've got some guys that can get after it, especially if you do some, a lot more aggressive play calling, sort of like they did the last 2 months of the season last year and the season prior. I do think we've got some guys that can be used on loops, pulls, stunts that really cause problems for teams and get after people. I will say this, if any stunts, if DJ Reader is going after it and he's pulling out, he's going to probably occupy 2 offensive linemen. So someone like Betts, who I do have some questions on some of his techniques and mechanics. We'll see if that's justified or not. I do not have questions about his athleticism. Same with Houston, Pascal. So if you're using them in that way where they're, Reader comes in or a lean comes in and they're going around in a stunt or a pull play where they come over, I think you can cause some real problems for offensive linemen to get after some of the quarterbacks, especially the more mobile ones. Bo, what do you got? I think Davis III didn't want to diss anyone when Dave B asked him about who he shut down. Class act. Yeah, and, hey, I get that, man. But, I'm liking the guy so far. I like a lot of the stuff he seems to bring. We got to wait to see when he gets on the field if that's justified. But based on past experiences with him, what he's done either against us or other NFC teams, etc., I think he could be a real win for the team. All right, Eduardo, yes, because DJ will demand the double team. Yeah, he will. He will. Eduardo, now Hutch has just one. Yeah, he can't ask for a much better setup. Could you make the point there, Eduardo, where you have to put Reader next to Hutch? If you do, man, think about that side of the offensive line. They're in some real trouble. I'm still keeping him next to Houston, but even so, Aleem McNeil and Aiden Hutchinson next to each other, you probably got 3 guys blocking 2, and you know what? That frees. You only can block so many people with so many, unless you're just going to keep everybody in the block. So you're going to cause some problems for opposing offensive linemen and OCs. All right, Detroit North. Do we know how much cap is still left after all the signings? That's what I was asking earlier. I think it's about 13 to 14 mil, somewhere around there. But if somebody can confirm that and put that in the comment section, I'd be very thankful. Bergtime, I hope we draft some guys that can get to the quarterback. Yeah, I think we're going to, man. Property Lord, good morning. Michael, the Bears are making a lot of moves on free agents. They are going to be our number 1 opponent this offseason. Yeah, or this upcoming season. I think Green Bay for sure. It's, in my opinion, it's a 3-horse race in the NFC North. Unless Minnesota really just solves their quarterback topic and then a couple other spots on the team. That defense is going to be vastly different next year than it was this year, unless they just hit on a ton of draft picks. But we'll see what happens. Moonscar Trump, love the clown emojis. Let's go get Derek in that clown suit. Oh boy, 28 sacks from the D line. All right, we'll go with that. Let's see, Joseph, I know it ain't nothing to do with the Lions, but I wanted to ask what you think about the Ravens this upcoming season with Derrick Henry added to their arsenal. I think they're going to be going to the Super Bowl. Derrick Henry, I mean, he's kind of the exception to the rule at the running back. I mean, that guy is just punishing to have to deal with. He reminds me a lot of, if you guys remember, Christian Okoye, which I get you're going back a long time on that, or Campbell and, just some of the other running backs of, yesteryear that just, man, when they hit you, they punished you. You didn't punish them. He's just an absolute missile. I think he's going to help them out. The amount of attention you got to put to that front seven to help contain the Ravens running game, it's only going to benefit that passing attack. Now, the only thing I will say against the Ravens is at some point, you've got to change the narrative. At some point, they've got to get into the postseason and do something significant. If they don't do it this year, man, oh man, there's going to be so much emotional weight, not just on Lamar Jackson, but the coaching staff and every player on that team, that you start becoming and you start believing you become what everybody is saying in the national media you are, that, hey, you're a regular season team, just can't get it done in the postseason. I'm rooting for them myself because, you know what? I don't like to see anybody go through that. I hope they can make a push, get into the Super Bowl, and I hope they lose to the Detroit Lions in the Super Bowl. So go with that. Joseph, ready myself. All right, fair enough. All right, Moonscar, Ravens will be tougher. Yes, they will. Eduardo, Michael Dover, the last 2 years, the league has sent us to Chicago late in the season. Need to hope and pray they do us a solid and send us to Chicago in September. Yeah, maybe opening day game. That would be real nice for Goff's sake. Oh, boy, there you go. Yeah, Goff on the outside. I get it, man. The narratives. Yes. Joseph, go Lions. Woo! 100%. Joseph, they sure ain't they sure ain't a Moonscar. There you go. Eduardo, as long as the Ravens have the great playoff choker as quarterback, they won't do anything. And that's kind of what I was just saying about. I hope they get it done just to kind of get that narrative out of the way. But at the end of the day, if they don't do it again this year, that's just bad for everyone over there. Anthony, good morning. Duke Crew, Super Bowl or bust, 100%. And good morning to you. Hopefully having a great one. Moonscar, what do you got? Eduardo, I'm good with Chicago late. Keep us out of Green Bay late. Hey, I bought this week 1 and 2. Green Bay, Chicago on the road. Get it done, over with. And that won't happen, though. Joseph, what do you got? Good morning, Anthony. Good morning to Anthony. Yes. Eduardo, Ravens defense held the Chiefs to 17 points. They should have won the game, exclamation point. The loss was all on Jackson. There's a lot of blame to go around for sure, man. Mike the Marine, hit the thumbs up button and share Lions Talk Live. Yeah, if you haven't yet subscribed, please consider doing so. And if you would, share, hit the like button, all that stuff. It all helps out. Anthony, get your Duke Crew t-shirts. Order now. Yes, contact Anthony about that. He's got the shirts all set. I got to get them in tomorrow morning's thumbnails just so you guys can see them again. But if you want, go ahead and contact him. Get it done. Bo, who's going to throw to the Bears high-priced wide receivers? That will be the question that I'm guessing only the draft will answer. So wait and see. Time agreed, Dan. All right, I agree with you too. Joseph, I will call you back here after the show's over and order some t-shirts, Anthony. There you go. Give him a call, give him a buzz, and get those t-shirts. Eduardo, Moonscar, Green Bay is just cold, while Chicago is windy / cold because of Goff's arm strength. You'd rather take the cold over windy. I'll go with that. Eduardo, did you forget the game in Chicago this year? Did you? Yeah. I get you there. Yeah, it did not go great for the Lions. And I get your points. All right, Leonard, what do you got? Greens, salutations, Dan, Duke Crew. This is going to be a great year! Exclamation points. Woo! 100%. And hopefully you are correct. Hopefully it's another solid year for the Lions. Gary, for what Hunter wants, Lions could sign Reader and Armstead. Yeah, unfortunately, one of them's Armstead's gone to, I think everybody said he'd signed with Jacksonville, if I'm not mistaken. Anything orders need to be in by the 23rd. Fair enough. Jerome, good morning, Coach. Just curious, why do some players get a press conference at the podium and others get a mic thrown in their face in the locker room? I mean, there's a lot of reasons for it. The locker room could be the setting the player or their representation chose. It could just be a lot of personal likes for the team and, like I said, the player. The reasons why, man, I don't know. I would say it probably just comes down to, what does that player want? You're the highlight of the moment. They're going to let you do whatever you want to do. If this is where you want to do it, all right, we'll go ahead and do it at the podium or in the locker room or wherever. All right, Bo, God bless you, Phil. Prayers. Yeah, hopefully Phil's doing okay. Eduardo, stats of players, yes. Okay. Status of players, yes. I agree on that. Leonard, I think McNeil and Reader are going to be a wrecking crew. Yeah, I think there's potential. They're two of the top, 10 or 15 defensive tackles in the league, and you have them both on one team. That's nice. All right, Gary, Brad Holmes isn't making the big moves that we wanted, but he's making the right moves that we need. I like the way you're going there. Eduardo, the bigger the player, the more media wants to speak with him. That is also true. That is also very true. All right, Trumps, I'm looking forward to seeing Betts in Houston. Yeah, I think you got a real nice 1-2 combination there for sure. And who knows, man, maybe Betts is better than any of us are anticipating, which would be a huge win for the Lions. All right, Joseph, fill my prayers with are with you and your family. My brother, God bless you and get well soon. Yeah, hopefully Phil's doing okay, and hopefully he pops in the channel here. I'm trying to get through these comments and try to catch up, and maybe he's already commented. Gary, gotta live it to the penny pinching Brad. Give it to the penny pinching Brad. He seems to have improved without overpaying. I think you're right, Gary. I think he's very good at managing the books and making sure the team isn't in a bad cap situation. So yeah, give him some kudos for that. JDC, as a lifetime Lions fan, I felt fidgety when the team hit the road. Not anymore! Exclamation point. Got to go into the dog pounds and show them who's the pack leaders. Yeah, establish dominance. There you go. Eduardo, I sure hope they extend Aleem now before he goes off and has to give him a bigger bag. That being said, he'd be stupid to sign on extension now. Yeah, I think he's probably going to wait. I'm guessing that's what his representation is going to have him do as well. Brent, greetings, salutations, coach and do crew. Prayers for Phil. God bless. Hopefully Phil is doing well. Hopefully we get an update. Iceberg, bear down. There you go. Ken, good morning, coach. Greetings, salutations, one and all. What a day in free agency. Let's go Lions, Super Bowl or bust. Woo! There you go. And good morning to you, Ken. Trump's free agency, A-. Okay, I'll go with that. Anthony, need coach to add pictures in thumbnail. Yeah, let's get that done tomorrow morning. I'll get some pictures in the thumbnail of the Duke Crew t-shirts. Leonard, I really hoping Betts does amazing this year. His highlights are amazing. Yeah, I'm hoping he's the diamond in the rough. He could actually be. So we'll have to wait and see though. Gary, overall free agency B+. Go with that. Anthony, B+. Eduardo, can we get a Lions go? Let's go Lions. Get a Lion. Let's go Lions. 100%. Bo, I like everything Brad Holmes has done so far. B could easily turn into an A by end of season. Yeah, I think that's pretty fair, Bo. Dunkong, Super Bowl or bust. All right, Anthony. Cincy folks are all butthurt over this one. Yeah, I don't think they want to see him gone at all. Detroit North, like and share. Yes, like and share the videos if you would, please. Don Kong, another mid-injured player. LOL. I'll hope for the best. Yes, at this point, that's all you can do, man. Robert G. Don Kong in the house. Yes, he is, and he is representing. Eduardo, you almost certainly have to. In the top 10, only one needs to be an edge. The next edge probably won't go until like 15. You have to think that the right guy drops, Brad trades up and uses that third. Yeah, I think you're right. I think if it's a target and they can make it happen, they're going to go after it. Anthony, DK needs to order a Duke Crew t-shirts then. All right, fair enough. Non Kong, yeah, he needs to get one. Michael, they brought back Dorsey, another DB. Good morning, Duke Crew. Yeah, that cornerback room, especially if they draft a few players, that's going to be pretty loaded. Eduardo, Branch is like a cannon when they blitz him. Yeah, he's great at that. Dr. Troy, great pickup. I agree. Joseph Robertson, yes, thanks for that, man. Mike the Marine, Detroit Lions is the mash unit. Well, let's hope they can fix them all up and patch them up. Let's see. I'm so ready to see what kind of blitzes AG comes up with. Yeah, I think he's going to lean that way more and more, especially with the beef up in the secondary. I mean, you want to play man, you want to get after the other team, you want to limit what they can do. That's how you do it. Both multiple formations in the secondary. Agreed. And you've got a lot of options back there. One funky, I love how supposedly so many people trust Brad, but a ton of them are butthurt. They didn't get who they wanted and insult him. Fans talk about a Super Bowl while Brad's trying to build a dynasty. Great points there, One Funky. And good morning to you. Brent, free agency grade B+. How many years has it been since we've been able to say, quote, we don't need a linebacker, end quote? No coincidence that Chris Spielman is Sheila's right-hand man. Glad he got an extension also. Yeah, and you know what? Hey, they're taking care of everybody, it seems. All right, Michael, we should trade Sutton to a team that runs zone. Now, that's a thought. That is a thought there. Could they do it? It is possible. Gary, if it's me, Sutton is sitting. He might be, man. I think he's going to be pretty good. But again, he's probably going to look a lot better now that he's not being asked to be the number 1 or potentially even the number 2 corner spot. Dr. Detroit, I am still stoked about Reeder. He was my number 1 free agent I wanted. Well, you got what you wanted, man. So enjoy a celebratory Mountain Dew. Eduardo, I want to see Branch and Iffy double blitz from same side. Ooh, now you're getting crafty. I like that, man. That's a good thought. JDC, Trump's Genius. I am not able to chat live on Wednesday, Thursdays. I just wanted to let you know I appreciate the stars and bars pick of yours. All right, fair enough. Fair enough. I guess I don't know the picture yet, so I'll check it out. Eduardo, I'm a Laporta supporter. that would be a good show. T-shirt. Trump's. It wouldn't be surprised if we draft a speedy linebacker. Could happen, man. I mean, I think this Brad Holmes is going to take whatever he thinks is the best player for this team, especially while keeping costs in mind. So he could go after him, yeah. And especially if we're going to blitz that much, if you can add more speed and athleticism to the linebacker room, you probably would. Detroit, Sutton would be a great cornerback on the inside, yeah. And I think he's going to be probably better than most people are anticipating once he's not, matched up with the premier wide receivers in the league as the number 1 receiver. And think about how many we played last year. I mean, it's probably going to happen again this year. So helping him out by having him play number 2 or 3 will make him look better. Trump's thumbs up. Yep. Anthony, from the podcast, they are talking about reasons since he moved on from Reeder was to pay Mixon, who is going to be with the running back room. They are out there getting paid. Yeah. And it's part of the NFL. You can't pay everybody. You have to make some choices. You can't keep everybody. But hey, their losses are gain, I believe. One funky Sutton was loved by the fans until he got turf toe. Then the fans turned on him while playing through injury. Yeah, that's also true. And unfortunately, sometimes fans don't realize how much some of those injuries impact your ability to play. But he gutted through it, man. Eduardo Davis and Sutton, 1 and 2. Branch, nickel, Iffy, and Kirby safeties. Split time with Sutton and Mosley. When Mosley is ready, he has a higher upside. I'd say when Mosley, if he gets healthy, I'm going to guess he's going to be on the field because he can play man pretty dang good. Sutton, I get he's better at zone than man. We'll see what shakes out, but consider this: no matter where they go, they're going to have good depth and options, which is something we haven't had perhaps in the past. All right, Eduardo, you know the kind of personalities we have on this team. Yeah, it's part of being a scout and part of one of my former jobs. You got to sit and you get used to sitting and watching and evaluating people's personality types. Just like, I shouldn't say this, watching some of you guys are in the chat more and more, you figure out your personality types based on sentence structure, formation, etc. All right, Brent, the starting cornerbacks, Davis and Mosley, if he's healthy. People forget that before his injury in San Francisco, he was playing at a Pro Bowl level. No, I think you're spot on with that. And that's what I'm saying, that when he gets healthy, we're going to have some real good options in the secondary. Eduardo Isul is our leader. Yeah, he's definitely one of them for sure. Bo, nice bike, Trump. There you go. 144, getting Reeder is like when we traded for Snacks Harrison. Remember what he did for the defense? Yeah, for a season or so he did. And then, I get maybe things happen to him, but I'm really looking forward to see what DJ can do for the team. Broski Bear, Cam Sutton and Carlton Davis are your starting cornerbacks. Brian Branch is your starting nickelback. Robertson Mosley are backup cornerbacks. We'll go with that. But see, we got options. Trump's, thanks, Bo. All right. Detroit D, greens and salutations. Back at you. Broski Bear, Trump's genius. Pounding. Yep. Dunk Kong. All of us Lions fans should be really happy. Like that Brad guy is doing a damn good job. If that man can land 2 to 3 guys winning the draft, impact guys, jeepers, we'll be rolling. Yeah, I think you look at the depth overall on the team, where it will be if we can land a few impact players or starters. Yeah, the Lions will be pretty dang deep. Trump's good morning, Bear. All right. Anthony, because of the signing, doesn't it affect the draft cap? We don't have that much left, or do we? No, they're going to keep the amount, the cap space they need for the draft. So I'm not worried about that part. Keys improved. Sure, Bears aren't on our level, coach, but it will be competitive. Yeah, I think it will be competitive throughout the North. And, hey, we all get that on the road. The home team gets about a 3-point advantage. So wait and see what happens. But it's going to be a fun year in Detroit, I believe. One Funky Eduardo, what do we do is celebrate it and enjoy. All right. What we do is celebrate and enjoy. Well, enjoy it and celebrate it. Taylor made a great point on personality types. Yeah. And again, I think more and more in North America, teams are paying attention to that in multiple leagues. Overseas, especially if you're talking like the middle European markets and then the Asian markets, I would say it's been that way, at least in all the time I've been around them for, 5-6 years or so as a scout. To them, that's just as important as it is your skill sets. If you don't have the right personality types, they're not going to bother with you, even if you are an egregiously talented player. In what I can say for the Detroit Lions organization, based on what I've watched with each of their draft classes, that has been a factor. So I have no doubt when they're putting the players through different tests or interviews, or if they're watching tapes on them talk in a non-stage setting, they're having one or two people sit there and evaluate the personality types to figure out who are they getting from an internal component, not just external. And I think it makes a huge difference. If you go to a lot of, say, Fortune 500 companies or whatever, you do see where they've done that for years. They want to know everything about you before they give you that paycheck. So kudos to the Lions for doing that. Benny, what do you got? Do you think the Lions should draft a wide receiver? Yes, probably later rounds because you can't pay everybody. At some point, some of these guys, while they're great stories and great Lions, you're not going to be able to retain them all. Their price tags are going to go up too much, and you're going to have to alleviate some of that financial burden so you can retain other players. So it's part of the business, man, unfortunately. Black Lion just arrived, so Bears got Allen for a fourth. That's a steal. Yeah, and, kudos for them. They're putting together a lot of pieces on that team, offensively and defensively. Hopefully Lions, though, they're doing enough to help augment that and stop that. So it'll be interesting to see, though, who will the Lions face at quarterback in Chicago. One Funky, I'd love to see Latua fall to around 20, then move up to get him, take McCormick in the second. That would be a good move. Yeah, if we can make that happen, that would be great. How about this? We're in a real good spot, in my opinion, with the draft to hit both of the areas of major needs in my mind. And not have to break the bank doing it. Ambrose Mayor Trump's genius is cool. Okay. Wardo, I can tell you how the North will pan out of Chicago. Us and Green Bay, whoever has the slow start, will be out of the race. It is imperative we have another 6-2 start or better. No, I think you're spot on. You don't want to get behind the 8 ball early. Manifest My Destiny. Good morning, Dan. I hope you and the family are doing well. I want to hear from our D-line coach, Terrell Williams, about the DJ Reader and Davenport signing. I bet he feels like a kid in a candy store. No, I think you're right. He's got to be, I'm going to guess Williams is looking at this defense that he's going to work with, the portions of it he is, and he's got to be pretty happy with it because you know what? He's got a lot of opportunities in front of him, plus whatever they add in the draft. All right, One Funky, Anthony Funky Latua is a beast. Love that kid. No, hard not to like him. All right, Don, people have to understand getting Ben Johnson and the rest of the staff back is huge. Consistency. I agree 100% because you look at the changes, especially in the preseason nowadays, since most players, the starters, don't get a lot of reps, if any reps. That means they've got to figure it all out in the first couple of games. You got trying to get everybody on the same terminology page. And I think the fact that Ben Johnson and Aaron Glenn are back, that in the first month of the season will be a massive win for the Lions. All right, Eduardo, I'm still skeptical about Chicago. They have a defense that will be top 10. If they can have an offense that is even 20th, they should contend for a wild card, but I think it may take a couple of weeks for them. Yeah, they may have to figure it out. Yeah, I got you. Trump's another big ugly in free agency, no replacement for displacement. There you go. One Funky, Anthony, it's been my draft crush for a while. He's been your draft crush for a while. Okay. Eduardo, so Chicago is my slow starter option. Yeah, as they work in some new parts and stuff. Hey, man, the game of inches. You get a big lead early in the division, and make other teams have to play catch up. Don, that loud woo gonna get a brother fired. All right, I'll try to woo it down a little bit. Sorry, man. All right, Eduardo Latua has medical issues too. Brad was jumping up and down when he heard that. You could be some truth to that, man. Anthony, yeah, mine too. Woo! All right, there you go. I'll try to keep them down for you. Don Kong, Don Burr, woo! There you go. Trying to do it a little lower. Keys, what do you got? Bears defense is much better than the soft Lions defense. DJ Reader just tore his quad again. Let's hope not. Let's hope he did not. All right, answer 14. Greetings, salutations, Dan and Duke crew. It's been great watching the Lions schematically fill the needs of this team. We are seeing the foundation of long-term success. I would agree with you. Really, there doesn't seem to be a downside to what they've done, and this should be sustainable for at least 2 to 3 years. After that, you're probably going to have to move some things around. All right, Donkey Kong, DJ Reader back by November. There you go. I'm hoping he's back for opening day. Anthony, it's funny you got to other teams' podcasters, and they are like us only for their teams. Hey, I love the fact we have a couple guys, from the Bears and other teams that come in here and talk. They're not rude, they're not disrespectful, they're sharing their thoughts. I think it's awesome, man, and they can add some insight into their teams. Trump's a torn muscle. I have to be back at work the next day. This is also true. Bo, I pity the poor fools. There you go. Anthony, Reader was cleared by Lions Medical. Doesn't that mean he's pretty much can play straight out of the gate? I would say if when they evaluated him yesterday, they had every intention that he's going to be able to play the vast majority of the season, that he's not going to have to sit around for a while. But I'm guessing he got a pretty good bill of health. Don, Brad isn't done. No, I'm guessing he'll still do a few more things. I want to remember they had to pay us, not the other way around. Correct. They had to play us, not the other way around. Yes. Anthony, Chase isn't a fit for the Lions from what I've heard. No, I would concur with that. Don Kong, yeah, Lions Medical cleared Mosley last year, so all teams just clear people they don't give a stuff. Mosley is just unfortunate, man. The fact that he went out there just a couple plays and tore the other ACL. I will say this with ACL and ligament issues, there's a big tendency once you start favoring to, kind of take burden off the one leg or joint or ligament or muscle, you put more stress on the other, and that can lead to that one getting messed up. Broski, Chase Young will sign with Panthers and pair him with USC teammate. I don't want him. Yeah, okay, we'll go with that. Eduardo, the only need on this team is guard. After that, it's just extra depth. Yeah, extra depth and development for the future. All right, a couple more here, and then it's been over an hour. Gary, would anyone be shocked if Holmes drafted an offensive weapon with 29? What are you thinking, Gary? Like wide receiver? It wouldn't surprise me if he felt that was the best player there. And I guess at that point, you're probably going guard in the second round, and maybe that's an indication they're just happy with the edges they have. Bo, Antonio Green is going to surprise this year. Yeah, and I think he could be the one that steps up. If Reynolds is gone, Green, I know we've mentioned on the show before, I think he's probably stepping into about that role. All right, Duncan, hello, crybaby. Derek, I watched some of his shows just to laugh. He cracks me up. I haven't seen his shows in a while, but yeah, I know a number of you guys have made some commentary in recent days about him. All right, Silver Server, unfortunately, I am beginning to believe that the Bears are keeping, quote, pain in the ass Fields and loading up in the draft. Hope I am wrong. It's what I would do. I would keep Fields, I would extend him, and I would trade out that number one pick. That being said, you need somebody to want to trade up to justify that. So see what shakes out. So sad to see Benito Jones going back to the Dolphins. It happens, man. You can't keep everybody. That's the hard part, man. Don, I like Derek, but geez, if he isn't a big name, then signing isn't good. Hey, maybe he does it just to get viewer effect. He cause reactions and get more interest in the videos. That could also be a possibility. But the other part is, I know a number of you guys said he's just incredibly passionate. Maybe it's simply that. Maybe he just really is that passionate about things. And hey, there's worse things to have than have somebody who's really into the content they're producing. I don't know the guy, so that's all I can really say about him. 313, what do you, why do y'all in the chats always con me to other streams to complain about other streamers? Who cares what Derek does? Leave it at his streams. Yeah, if you don't enjoy him, just watch a different one. There's a ton of quality guys out there that do content. And I know I keep trying to reach out to, like, I don't know if any of you watch Luke G. I think he does real good work. I've tried to work with him on trying to do some sort of collaboration, even on his show or here. There's a couple other people I've reached out to. Hopefully can get some of them to do it, but most of them say the same thing. What time are you on? Maybe not. Ken, Derek has gone off the deep end. He's lost to the dark side. Very good. All right. Silver, what news on Donovan Peoples-Jones? I do not have any. Ken, TA, even Obi-Wan can't save him now. No, he might be gone, man. All right. Trumps, we are set even without the draft. No, I think we're in a pretty good spot. The draft can only aid us even further. Don, Silver Surfer, Bears will bear no worries. Fields is a running back. The dude can't read defenses, can't throw timing passes. Let's hope that holds true. All right, Eduardo, if we come out with 2 impact players in this draft, oh boy, yeah, I agree. The more you can add in the draft, the crazy deeper this team gets. Don, they should do an inside the den when interviewing all the signing free agents like they did during the draft. No, I think that'd be real nice. Silver Server, now I'd go online, edge in the first 2 picks. It'd be interesting if the Lions draft Xavier Worthy. Imagine him paired with Jameson outside. I'm a Ross St. Brown, Laporta, Gibbs. Good luck covering. Yeah, you'd have some real speed out there. Anthony, get your Dew Crew t-shirts ordered. Need to be in by the 23rd. Listen to the man. If you want a shirt, go ahead and contact him. Don Kong, Brad should easily be able to hit on a guard. I'm hoping for 2 other impact draft picks. That'd be nice. Yeah, edge, maybe a receiver, cornerback, linebacker, who knows. So I hope you're doing all right, Don, bro. Yeah, I hope you are right, Don. Bo, Anthony, my order has to wait until next payday. I have more time than money. Love the shirts. Yes, he's done a great job designing those. Troy D, how do I order one, Anthony? Anthony, go ahead and throw that in the comments section. Answer 14, Davis practices against the 2 best receivers in the NFC South, Goodwin and Evans every day. Iron sharpens iron sharpens iron. He's going to be a great addition. I agree with you, and you've got a great point there. All right, guys, I've done what I can. I've got up as far as I can in the chats. It's been about 1 hour and 7 minutes, so I got to get ready for the workday and all that stuff. If you haven't yet subscribed to Lions Talk Live, please consider doing so. Also, if you would, hit the thumbs up button. We're about 30 subs or so away from 6,100. So if you could help make that happen, I would be thankful. Otherwise, I'll see you guys all in the next Lions Talk Live. Take care, everybody.